Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John, and it's time for another episode of Hate It or Love It. This series is where I take a band or artist and I scour the internet from Ask Jeeves to MySpace.com and other very relevant websites, and I try to find out why the internet and people in general hate or love a certain band or artist. And today, up for discussion and debate, we have the English rock band, the folk rockers, the alternative outfit, the other subgenres of things that are kind of similar to that, Mumford and Sons. They are led by Marcus Mumford, and they've definitely kind of vilified themselves over the years because of certain views on things and certain other aspects of their music. We're going to get into it, but keep in mind with the 5 main points that we're going to have today, these are opinions that I have found elsewhere on the internet, and I've found a lot of people backing, and I will weigh in with my take on each and every point. Please drop a like on this video. Let me know your opinion on Mumford and Sons as we are staring down the barrel of their new album, Delta, at this point. Sound off down below, drop that like, and subscribe if you're new. A huge complaint that I have seen for Mumford and Sons is the fact that they are phoning in their style. Especially in their early days, they were seen as a fake folk band due to the sound that they had and just the outfits, the garb that they had that looked like they were from the 1950s, the 40s, the 60s, and they were trying to put on some sort of act, and that led to people questioning their authenticity. It's something that I can definitely see myself. You could look to the band's first album, Sigh No More, or even Babel, however you want to say it. Those albums definitely had a little bit more of that vibe, and you had the twangy banjos and everybody dressed up. But at the same time, I feel like they kind of took it in stride and knew that they were putting on an act, and that's a lot of what music is. It's about showing a certain side of yourself or putting on an entertaining act for people. And they kind of took aim at themselves on the Hopeless Wanderer video, which had the likes of Ed Helms in there, and it was absolutely hysterical. I love that music video, one of their best that they have ever done. So I understand the fact that maybe even with just the clothing people can get mad, but once you get into the music itself, I definitely see some derision, I suppose, and the fact that maybe they borrowed a certain style. But overall, I think there's a little bit more to get into, but we're not going to see that until one of the later points. Reason number 2 why the internet seems to hate Mumford and Sons is the fact that many of their lyrics and just their writing style in general feels kind of bland and like it's writing from somebody else's perspectives. When you listen to pop music, you can often tell that it often feels maybe not super real or down to earth because the artist, or the singer I guess I should say in many cases, is just talking or narrating the fact that this is a great night, or this place that we're going to, or we're building up and we're gonna go do this and conquer. And many of Mumford and Sons' songs did kind of follow that very strict formula, and as a result, it often felt a bit tedious and inauthentic. It's not to say that they're completely disingenuous, it's just that many of the songs feel like they're written from some perspective of a nameless person that maybe anybody could relate to. So the stories that they tell, they feel a little bit more limited, especially once you start to do a deep dive on the lyrics. I do think this is a valid complaint, and it's definitely stopped me from getting into more of their stuff and coming back for repeated listens. Reason number 3 is something that I can't necessarily comment on myself because I am not from across the pond. I am not an English citizen. I'm not from London. I am not from any of those areas over there. I'm from the US of A myself. So reason number 3 is because many people, the Brits themselves, feel like they've been abandoned for Mumford and Sons playing the festival circuits in the US and dominating the charts over here. Now, this might have been a bigger complaint around 2012 when I Will Wait and some of their other songs like Little Lion Man just would not die. I mean, if I had to pay $10, $50, $150,000 to never hear some of those songs again, then that would be fine, especially I Will Wait. That is personal preference though, and it did dominate the US, and I suppose I can understand that it kind of felt like a Coldplay-esque move, where Coldplay originally started off in their home country, got big there with like their first album, Parachutes, and then Mumford did that on Sigh No More. And then that blew up slowly over the course of the next couple of years, released in 2009. By 2011, they were huge in the US. They released Babel, and things are just going platinum left and right. And it feels like maybe they moved on to the US a bit more. I suppose from an outsider's point of view, I can't agree with this, but let me know in the comments section down below if you're from the UK, if you feel this, or maybe you just never cared about them in the first place, or maybe you love them and it just doesn't bother you. Now, I briefly touched on this one when I was talking about my first point on why the internet seems to hate Mumford and Sons, but point number 4 is the fact that so many of the songs sound so similar to each other, and like I said, they kind of follow a very strict Mumford and Sons styled formula. There's a reason why we follow the formula or the recipe for a lot of things. If you're cooking a meal, then you need to do the right ingredients or else it's not going to taste right. But the fact is, Mumford and Sons are not a meal. They are not a snack, as some of the kids would say these days. They are just out there playing music, and the fact that so many of their songs are sounding similar and having very strategic ways of doing things, I think I have to agree with the internet on this one. It's something if you sit down and listen to their music, start playing through their albums as I did in preparation for this video, I started to see the similar connecting themes. It's like somebody that feels oppressed. It has a slow banjo to start, but then it slowly builds up, especially on their early material, and they did this even more as they incorporated it into their next record, which a lot of people were feeling very divided on, but I can hear similar things even on singles like Believe. From Sigh No More to Wilder Mind to even the first single off of Delta, I can hear the way that they write a song, and there's nothing wrong with that feeling anthemic or even liberating for some of their fans, but to somebody who appreciates music on a little bit more of a deeper level, not to sound like an asshole, but I guess I'm just tired of hearing the same thing. It's okay, and I understand why they dominate the circuit festival, but overall, I think a lot of music fans are left wanting something a little bit more than just the generic tendencies that they have in their songwriting. You start off oppressed, you overthrow it, you break down the banjo or the guitar and everything gets loud and you are no longer under the thumb of somebody else, and there's your Mumford and Sons track. The internet isn't exactly a friendly place, and this was a huge complaint that I saw out there, especially in the world of Reddit, which can be a cruel place in general, but this one is something that stood out to me because many people just find this band extremely boring. No matter what they do, whether it be their politics or their possible points of view, whether it be them hanging out with Jordan Peterson, somebody who was considered very controversial in the studio in the recording of their new album Delta, or it just their music in general, or whatever it is, going to see them live, most people that I could find, at least in certain corners of the internet, were chiming in and saying that this band Mumford and Sons is just unbelievably boring. It's something that can be a cruel statement, but at the same time, if you're a fan, don't let it deter you. I like a lot of Mumford and Sons songs still. It's something where I can put on tracks like Broken Crown, even The Cave, and something like Tompkins Square Park, and I absolutely adore many of the moments there, and I like Marcus Mumford as a vocalist, and I like the backing band, but many of their songs do seem flat out boring, so I don't want to be mean, I don't want to push an agenda down anybody's throat saying you shouldn't listen to Mumford and Sons because they're boring, but once again, I'm checking off the agree box and saying the internet got it right on this one. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you hate them? Do you love them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Who should I feature on the next episode? Let me know a band or an artist, and of course I will take it into consideration. Please drop a like on this video. Keep in mind that all of the points that I was weighing in on, it started off as the internet's opinion, and of course I weigh in with my own on each and every point. Anyways, subscribe if you are brand new, and consider supporting the channel on Patreon at the top link down below. An even easier way to get over to my Patreon and access it is right in this annotation in the corner of your screen. Very convenient. Help out on a monthly basis right over there and help the videos keep coming. If you want to see a Mumford and Sons review, then tap right here, or tap here for the last episode of Hate It or Love It. All of my socials are in the description, and I'll see you soon for more on Beyond ARTV.